throughout your career, I mean, you've both trained much differently and had a much different style than any top skier out there. Why do you think that's worked for you when, there's not really a ski instructor out there that would, teach some of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think my style isn't so much different, actually. I mean, I think people have struggled to define what it is that's different. I would say my tactics are more or less the thing that separates me. If you asked me to ski down a course, any course, and this was from when I was 6 years old until now, and you said, I want you to maintain perfect form throughout this course, I would say no problem. And I would ski with my hands dead in front of me and, super smooth and very even stance, feet wide apart, cruise down. If you tell me to ski down as fast as I can from the start to the finish of a course, I'm going to ski down as fast as I can from the start to the finish. And that often looked different than the way that I would ski if I was trying to look perfect technically.
Okay.
And I didn't compromise the speed to look a certain way technically. So in a sense, that's just tactics, and it really was the sort of the root or the basis of having success for me. I mean, to disregard what people thought and what people were saying and what they thought was important for what I thought was important, which was winning races. And in the end, I've seen a lot of racers go by the wayside because they invest way too much time in how they look and how the coaches feel about their skiing and how the coaches anticipate all the success they're going to have, instead of focusing on what the racing actually is, which is trying to get from the start to the finish as quickly as you can. Because there's just no judges that can take off time. If you're slow, just because you look good, that doesn't help you.
Yeah, I understand you're kind of obsessed with looking for an edge, a way to gain even a minor advantage that would just enable you to shave fractions of the fraction of a second of time off a run. I talked to each of your agents, and both of them said the exact same thing about you, in that you're very analytical. In what ways?
It comes from the desire to improve and be successful. There's only certain things that you can truly control and you can adjust and make adaptations to that can be sort of unilaterally successful within a situation. Your equipment can be improved upon, your aerodynamics or your suit or your outfit, and then at the end of the day, all those things may only add up to 1 or 2% of the difference between winning and losing, but that 1 or 2% is all you need. I mean, the 1 or 2% is 1 or 2 seconds if you're in a 100-second race, which is a normal race. So, I always kind of just saw it as a mandatory component of trying to race well. I mean, obviously, when you kick out of the start gate, you want to try to race well from that point until you cross the finish line. But there's a whole other component of that that you deal with on a regular basis every day and all throughout the day and the night and your preparation and all those things. So, I guess I just developed that, like I said, through the desire to not lose for stupid reasons. The way that I skied at the Olympics and the training runs in Sochi was unbelievable. It was a privilege to ski that way, just because I was doing things that no one has any business doing. I mean, I was the only person on the planet who could do the things that I was doing, and I earned that right by my millions of hours of skiing and crashing and making mistakes. And in that particular instance, everything converged just right, where the inspiration was there because the Olympics is such an incredible venue to be at, and the snow conditions were perfect. My skis, my equipment, I'd worked on hard, and my team, my technicians, everyone had done a phenomenal job. The course setter had set a course that was so challenging that you really couldn't overdo it.
And what's that moment like for you when everything converges and it's just perfect?
It was amazing. Like I said, I'd get to the bottom and I was like a kid. I just wanted to do it again. I didn't care that it was only a training run and that it didn't count for anything. I mean, that to me was one of the biggest accomplishments in my career, was just to ski at that level where it really awakened the enthusiasm and the passion again, where you just are doing something that's so thrilling and exciting and challenging. And I was right on the cusp of almost entirely inspiration, because there was no reproducing what had already happened before. I mean, I was putting myself into positions that I'd never even seen anyone try to do, and people were right there watching, were wondering how the hell it was possible. I mean, I had coaches come down and just say that was some of the most incredible things. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know that I ever will again, because it takes such a convergence of things. And the fact that it worked that time is enough to shift people's perspective of what is possible and what's not. And at the time, when you first see it, it seems like magic, and that's something really special.